Rightio, it was the second week of the Super League playoffs, the semi-finals. The top two came to play. We'll start with the game in the south of France, where Catalans hosted Hull Kingston Rovers. It was 12-4 to the Dragons at half-time. It finished 28-10. In what eventually was a comprehensive win for the Dragons. 11,530 were there at a sold-out Stade Gilbert Brutus, and they made quite the atmosphere. James Child was the referee that had to keep a lid on it all. In terms of the stats, metre stats in favour of the home side, backing up their big win with over 350 more metres at a big 2 metres per carry better average gain. They only had 2 more carries than the Robins, but did a lot more with it. They made an extra break, but also an extra error, and scored 5 tries to 2. Individually, Tom Davies, 119 metres and 2 clean breaks from the relentless winger. Artem Morg, a try, 7 tackle busts and 151 metres from the exciting Frenchman. Josh Drinkwater, a try assist and 129 metres, most of those on that interception try. Mike McMeekan, 42 tackles, 112 metres, 3 successful offloads as his strong first year in France goes on. For the losing Robins, Sean Kenny-Dow was impressive in defeat. A try assist, 6 tackle busts, 132 metres, 2 clean breaks. Kane Linnett went both ways with 40 tackles and 123 metres. Will Dagger had 117 metres, and Ryan Hall returned from injury to score a try and grab 105 metres. There were a couple of cautions out of the disciplinary. James Maloney for standing on an opponent and Mikey Lewis for other contrary behaviour, but nothing that affects the ability for anyone to line up at Old Trafford. We had plenty of fan views in on this one. Do you want to give us the first one?
I will. EFC 78JU says Catalan Dragons had a tough game with Hull KR, but in the end won it. But it was a close game near the end. Steve McNamara has outdone Tony Smith by 26-10 in the final game in Perpignan and on to Old Trafford to play either St Helens or Leeds Rhinos. It was Saints in the grand final next Saturday. Well played, league leaders, winners. Hard luck, Robins, on to next year.
Alan Walker said, shame we had to beat Rovers to get through. It would have been nicer to meet them in the final, but Wigan and Wire fucked that up. So hey-ho. Not a great game, but it was quite a show despite the Nazi mayor trying to sabotage it. As always, Benny G led the way. Sammy and Langy busted through, and the halves managed the game from start to finish. Can't see Samkins getting back in. Fuck off, Alan, come on. He'll have to run the water with Tommy Bosco and Visca. Yeah, can't see Man of Steel and your best player getting back in. You say some silly things to wind me up, you do, Alan, and it works. It works every time.
Yeah, he just reeled you in like a large fish there. Always in our shadow says, Plan A, give it to Abdul, let him hoof it. Plan B, what's a plan B? Simply not up to task when you can't choose to play Lee 3 times and avoid the good teams. Didn't deserve to be there, hash, since 1985.
Well, they finished 6th, not 8th, so... Joshua's granddad said, a competition between the fullbacks. Morg messed up more, but Dagger's mistakes were more expensive. Thought Morg no try was good and didn't understand some of the calls going in KR's favour. The entertainers from East Hull forgot to entertain. Hashtag since 1985.
We're getting quite a lot of Hull views on this, aren't we? Callum Percy, Wigan drummer. Great game to watch. I didn't think it was Callum, to be honest. But anyway, was ace to see so many at the game, certainly was. Hopefully they will have enticed the fans that don't normally go to Shock next season. They put every Super League team to shame with the support on Thursday. It could have been a lot closer, but unfortunately the occasion got to Hull KR and it showed with the amount of mistakes. Can't wait to be in that Catalan end on Saturday, dressed up as frogs with the lads. Smiley laughing face.
Tom Andrews said, well, the great season comes to an end. One game too far and the injuries finally show. Catalans were there for the taking, but nothing seemed to click for Rovers. Thought the left edge, especially Skids, was immense, but the rest of the team were just outmatched and full of errors. Great memorable season overall and already excited for next year. Hopefully everyone writes us off next year too. Up the fucking Robins!
Well said, well said. At Mike Webb, 58, said, solid performance from Ladrax and a deserved first GF appearance. Realised how much they rely on tries from kicks. Yep, they scored 3, 4, maybe 3, definitely. Given the short in goals at Old Trafford, that may be a consideration next week. Yep, that's a good point. What do you think of this game, Mark?
I enjoyed the atmosphere. That came through well, I think. Very colourful, very vibrant. I think that Catalans, I don't know if they were nervy, but they weren't on the front foot, but they were helped out by the Robins making a lot of errors. Hull KR seemed to feel like they had to score on every set, no matter where they were on the field, and they made some decisions that you might be able to make in a early July game on at home on a Sunday that no one's watching, but not taking the too early on in a playoff game seems silly to me. I know that's not, I wouldn't say go away fully from your way you want to play, but they just pushed too much too soon, too fast. I feel like, and it was too much. There was no settling into the game at all, and it just didn't feel right for the occasion the way they approached it, if I'm honest. But it's what we've commended them for so many times in the Tony Smith era there, so I'm not going to slag them off too much for it. I just think that's why they're going to be an entertaining side, not a winning side. Catalans did get their act together, I felt like, in the second half. They were much more controlled and organised and just executed the game and made it, in the end, a really comfortable game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the Hull KR were playing a really, really good team. And the style of rugby Hull KR play is a lot harder when you've got a team up against you as good as Catalan are. You're very often starting from quite a difficult position near your own line. You've got a fast defensive line coming up against you, so you don't get the time, and you're quite often kicking from significantly further back down the field than you would be against other teams. That makes sort of Hull KR's game plan much more difficult to execute. They don't get the time to pass the ball in the same way. So I don't think Hull KR played well. In fact, I think they played bloody badly, particularly the first half. But I think we've also got to give Catalan some credit for putting them under the cosh a lot more than they would normally expect to be.
Yeah, and I think credit for that goes to McAlorum and Garcia, who started
definitely
the game quite ferociously. I thought, not like over the top ferociously, but in terms of the speed that they
intensity. They got the intensity right. They got the speed at the line right. I thought McAlorum was the best player on the night. I think Catalan missed Tompkins. I mean, you would. He's the man of steel. I think he's a better fullback than Morg. And he links the line.
A better fullback than most fullbacks.
Yeah, he is. So so
it's not a slight on Morg, that is it?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I think Morg's a terrific player, particularly in the halves. I think Tompkins organises the defence better, and I think he links the line better. So I don't think Catalan were at their best. I expect them to be at their best this weekend. But they were far too good for Hull KR.
Yeah. Far
too good for Hull KR. I do think Sean Kenny-Dowell had a really good game. He's some player still. Even at his age, he's some player still. And took his try very well, and always looked dangerous, I thought. It was disappointing for me as a semi-final. Obviously, I hoped Hull KR would win because I'd much rather have played them in the final. Sorry, Hull KR fans, than be playing Catalan in the final. But I was overall disappointed for the occasion in the sense that I was hoping Hull KR would put a really good showing, even though I thought Catalan would win, and I don't think they really did themselves justice.
No, they were a bit too. I'm trying to think of the right word to say.
Bit naive.
Yeah, they were trying to play their way, but I think they were doing it too much. I think almost like they'd bought into this is how we play and this is how we'll win by doing it this way. And I just think you've got to be a bit more canny than that. And like you say, they were naive. Catalan's left tries out there. Joel Tompkins, dropped the ball over the line.
Couple disallowed. No.
There was a couple ruled out by the video ref in the first half as well, weren't there? The Arthur Morg one was interesting to me because I kind of felt sorry for him. I thought he was doing everything he could to not do a double movement and kind of got tackled into the double movement sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that was one instance where maybe OKR were kind of canny. They kind of didn't let him not put the ball down again.
Yeah.
So I thought he was.
Yeah, so I felt a bit sorry for him, but not too sorry.
No. No, but there was nothing really, controversial and questionable in this game. I don't think so. I think I'd say
saved all that for the second game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think the second game was pretty dour, but we'll get onto that in a sec. I think
agree.
I do agree with what you're saying about McIlaurin being good. I'd say I don't know if he was the best player for Catalans, but he certainly had his best game for a while, which is kind of typical McIlaurin, isn't it? Actually, he does play big games well.
Comes up for the big games.
Yeah.
I just thought he set the tempo, as you were saying. I thought he set the tempo around the intensity, the speed of the line, both on attack and defence. So I thought he had a really, really good game. We'll have to sit on him and keep him quiet if we hope to have a win this weekend.
Yeah, I thought Busquets and Garcia were really good too. I think McMeekan was really strong. Whitley is good, but even when Young Chan came off the bench, he grabbed that try, didn't he? He poached a try. So I think they were just a better team, and that's that.
Yeah, they were. And speaking of better teams, game 2 was St Helens versus Leeds. It was St Helens 14, Leeds 4 at half time. It finished St Helens 36, Leeds 8 at full time in front of 11,688. Chris Cardshot Kendall was the referee. There are incomplete team stats. I don't know why. Someone didn't exist then, Mark.
Yeah, Bodine Thompson doesn't exist.
Oh, of course he doesn't. For the winners, Alex Walmsley, 1 try assist, 14 tackle busts, another 184 metres. Lachlan Coote, in his final game at the TW, 2 try assists, 7 tackle busts, 166 metres. Regan Grace, 2 tries, 5 tackle busts, 128, and 2 clean breaks. And James Roby, the ever young James Roby, 1 try, 48 tackles, and 15 of those were from marker. For the losers, Brad Dwyer, 44 tackles, and Luke Briscoe, 1 try and 103 metres. From the disciplinary, this was a surprise to me, but anyway, James Donaldson, high tackle, grade A, and Morgan Knowles, late hit on passer, grade A. I was amazed that, was it Briscoe in the first half? He didn't get anything. Anyway, that's for me to comment on later.
Actually, what did they say about that? Let's get up the match review panel. Tom Briscoe, high tackle, 21st minute. Player does not swing his arm into the tackle. Initial contact is with the arm of the opponent and hand is open. Arm then rides up into opponent's head, but lets player go immediately. Was that the Simbin incident? Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
I watched it on super slow-mo. That is a very, very generous interpretation of what I saw.
I don't think it was direct head contact.
I do. I mean, as I say, I've watched it on super slow-mo. I think it was direct head contact with force on a swinging arm, and his feet came off the floor. I
think it was. I think there was a recklessness to it in terms of the and the level of impact, I think were the two parts to me that said yellow card. A lot